It's a beautiful day for another weekly Q&A session. If you're wondering what this is, it is a similar setup to the weekly live streams, except of course, instead of being live, it is pre-recorded, as you likely have already guessed. And of course, you can post your questions in Discord in the link in the description below. I'll show exactly where to go a little bit later. But first things first, let's get to a bit of a Bitcoin analysis here. Just a very quick one, not super in-depth, as I do want to go over a continuation from yesterday's analysis. We were looking at several potential things upon confirmation on yesterday's closure for the weekly on CME, and pretty much nothing that we were looking at has been confirmed so far, that is. So all of these things are still in the background, but I want to be very, 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 very clear in stating that nothing has been confirmed as of right now. Thus, there are still risks to the downside. But let's just go over the situation of yesterday. Yesterday, there was the biggest exchange hack in the history of crypto. Like bigger than fucking FTX, or I mean, FTX wasn't hacked, but a bigger issue than FTX, a bigger issue than Mountain Gox, all of these places. And, well, for all intents and purposes, that was your yesterday daily dildo. Your daily dildo barely was a bearish engulfing. More importantly, it didn't break the range on neither side of the day, although nearly trading up to almost $100,000 and then down to just below $95,000. But realistically, nothing has really changed here. Nothing's really happened based upon that event, and the range as it is right now. What I suspect that the range will continue to be, it's going to be between about 94.1 to the downside versus about 99.1 to the upside. And Bitcoin probably spends some more time just filling out this area right here. I know that's probably not what a lot of people want to hear, because the most painful thing for most people, and myself included, is fucking boring ass sideways action. But if you see something like this, again, that'd still be a good sign long term. All of these signals that we spoke about yesterday, while they haven't been confirmed, they are not necessarily denied. It's just it gets postponed a little bit. On that topic, I did want to go over, I guess just very quickly, the 5-day CME HPDR obviously did not close above the median, so that makes things a little bit more tricky coming into next week, especially if Bitcoin does open up below it again on Sunday, late Sunday, then theoretically, more likely to fill out the bottom region of the 5-day HPDR. But the big one that I've been getting a lot of questions on is, of course, the hash ribbons indicator. And I should note that while yesterday and the day prior, and actually the past week, were consistently counting down by about 1 day for the projected buy signal, the advent of yesterday's events has actually made the current buy signal, or potential for a buy signal, unpredictable, at least from the calculation of this reverse indicator right here for the hash ribbons. And why is that? Well, the blue buy signal will happen when that red line crosses the silver line, as you can see. And as of right now, the red line has a positive slope. Now that can change intraday here. That can change upon tomorrow's open. It can change. It's what it's what I'm saying. Just like we saw it change from yesterday to it's like 0.2 days to now unpredictable. It can change very, very fast. So this is why I do say that it's really important that if you're following a signal like this, or look, I shouldn't tell you what to do, but I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. I do not consider Bitcoin as quote unquote safe. And even then, I mean, it can still have a short-term downside move, but it would be an opportunity. But I would not consider it as tradable until this signal occurs. That's the green light. That's the major green light that gives the green light to everything else in terms of actionability for a potential upside. So yeah, anyways, let's get first into the YouTube member sections because YouTube members get priority for this, as there is limited time, obviously. And we'll go down the list here for Cousin Burley. Cousin Burley says, hey, Crown, for HPDR settings, do you normally use 7 look back for high-term time frame and 14 for low-term time frame? What about medium-term time frames? Actually, I use 7 across the board. You can experiment with 14 as well. Caretaker, who is the creator of the HPDR, prefers 14. I prefer 7. it is what it is. It's just I'm most accustomed to looking at a seven look back at this point. So I just keep it consistent at 7 across the board. Again, doesn't matter on the time frame, but other people will look at different ways of doing it. Anyways, moving on, we have Crypto Rect RD. He says, "Love to Crown and Elsa from Australia. Love to you as well, sir. It's probably very nice in Australia right now as well. Can you please provide an outlook on the following?" Let's start off with Sui. We'll go down the list. Let's see. Sui. Again, while I did say that this one's likely topped out for a very long time, maybe even this cycle, we were looking over the past week and a half for a nice bounce. And I mean, it has bounced decently thus far to the 382 level. I still think that this one does bounce higher. Again, despite yesterday's, $1.5 billion. Okay. This is a crazy fucking number. $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion fucking dollars. Hack. What did it do? It didn't even really trade outside the range of the prior daily. I'll still be looking for this one to bounce up, regardless of whether you're super bearish or super bullish. I happen to be more on the long-term bearish side, but I do think that it will bounce up at least to about 380 before this is all said and done. In fact, somewhere between about 380 to perhaps 415 on the upper side. If it does start to trade and close above 415, let's say, just 618 fib right here, I would say I'm going to be wrong about my projection that this thing has topped out for this cycle and that it should at least retest around the current highs or the current all-time high. But until then, I do think that this is kind of ripe for another move up and a bit of a bull trap situation. But we'll see. I mean, of course, if the rest of the market turns around, this thing very likely will as well. Anyways, deep daily, this one actually I've been following a bit myself as well. Similar to Sui, it's kind of like I look at it as like a leveraged play on Sui. Where's your range? About 12 cents to the downside versus 25 cents to the upside. Still working on lower highs. I do think similar to Sui, it's going to bounce higher before this is all said and done. But you can already see that this bounce is not as actually as strong as Sui. And this one, for me to get bullish on it, it would have to be back above 25 cents. So very similar to Sui. While I do think it might come down a little bit short term again, but I do think that you're in for a bounce here. The real question is what happens around this region. If it can trade back above 25 cents and close there, then I would be looking for a retest of prior highs and maybe even the bull market is still on. But until that happens, this is looking questionable right here. Although actually, to be fair, not as questionable as Sui. But we still have about 6 days left in this month to go, so a lot can happen. Oh, and then one last one, SEI. Okay, SEI. All right. This one I definitely don't like. Holy shit. Again, while I do think it's going to rally here, this one can rally a lot, by the way. Can rally all the way, basically to the LARP line. But let me redo it for where we're at right now. While I do think it can rally all the way up to like 50 cents, which is almost a 2x move from where it's at right now, especially as weekly momentum is starting to flip back up. I do not like what this one's doing overall. I did chart the bottom side of this wrong, but we do have a weekly downtrend that's not fucking good. So while I do think that the next move is up, you have to be cognizant that lower highs below 50 cents is going to be continuation of trend most likely. Just not bullish on it long term, or not a part of the bull market long term until it's back above this high from December of 2024. All right, nice. Arms Private also wants to look at SEI. I think we just got that one, so all good. Drew's View says, "Good morning, Crown. Good morning, ma'am. Whoops, let me expand this message right here. Let me just make sure that my microphone's still working. Maybe get my water ready as well. I can see this is a long one, so need to properly hydrate." All right. Drew's View says, "Good morning, Crown. I just finished the Trade Like a Quant program, and I'm building my Bitcoin strategy based on the template. Awesome. My goal was to backtest with low leverage on a $10,000 account to see if I could generate enough profit to justify the Quant Prime service. The challenge I'm running into being based in Florida," hope you guys are enjoyed your trip here. Actually, we fucking love it. Elsa, do you love it? What? Do you love Florida? Yes. Yes, she says she's a Florida girl, whatever the fuck that means. Is that the only legal way for me to use leverage through Coinbase futures contracts? Since these contracts expire monthly, each contract creates a new chart, making it difficult to backtest properly. Yeah, okay, so there's a couple of solutions for you here. The most easy one that wouldn't require that much work would be to continue using Coinbase futures, and you don't need to use the Coinbase futures chart on TradingView to initiate and execute your trades with the Quant Prime. You just need to have a Bitcoin chart. So that can be any of the Bitcoin charts. In some cases, I even use, or in a couple of past cases, I've even used the index chart, which obviously is not tethered to any exchange, to execute my trades. Now, is it going to be perfect? No. There are some pros and cons with that. Obviously, you're not trading the exact chart and exact price as a different exchange. I mean, just look at all these different Bitcoin prices right here. Some of them diverge by even more than $100. Like that's a big difference. But I'd find one that's close and go off of that. I think that'd be the easiest solution for you. Of course, the other solution is to get an account on, one of the more prestigious leverage exchanges, if you want to call it that. Bybit, Bluffin, BitGet, maybe even Binance, although I don't really care for their UI. But you could actually theoretically do that by one. You should incorporate, or I shouldn't say you should, but you could incorporate a company in a jurisdiction, a different country that it is legal to trade on those exchanges. So that could be like Estonia. That could be, it could be many places. Like I'm not going to list them all off, but there's many places like that's for you to research. Many places like Estonia or Dubai make it very easy to create a company online. So you can have that as well, and then you just KYC through your company, and that's completely legal, completely legit, and all good. Anyways, I think we're on to the next one. Arms Private is back. He's looking at Dogecoin short and long term. All right, and then maybe Tau. What could that be bringing? Dogecoin here. Let's see. Dogecoin here. It's me, dog. Fucking dumb. This one definitely weaker than pretty much everything else that we've seen today. I mean, this one's, hanging out a lot closer down to the lows, but similar to the other ones, I don't think that you're gonna have like a full breakdown here. I think at worst you retest around 21, 22 cents, just the 377 exponential. But whether it comes all the way down there first or it starts from here, I do think you're in a bounce phase. I do think that you will hit at least around 30 cents. Let me just see where one of our fibs is. 27 to 30 cents. But as long as you're below 30 cents, it is hard to love long term. Looking at the monthly, I wonder if you guys can hear the music, by the way, in the background. There's some live music right now next to our hotel. Yeah, I would also say on the monthly, if you see this month close above about 27 cents, that keeps the Bula's hopes alive as well, at least for another month. But, definitely don't want to see it below this month's low. That much is obvious. All right, cool. We've gotten through all of the members here. Again, if you want to join the member section and get priority, then it's just a join button on the YouTube page below, and from there we can go over here to Discord. This, of course, is free on Discord. You just need to join the Discord link in the description below, and then find your way over to the weekly Q&A section and pick the most recent week. It's that difficult, actually. All right. Some more water before we get ready. Let's check on time as well. All right, we got plenty of time. Rano Sano says, "Hey Crown, I hope you're having a great time over at Uncle Sam's. It has actually been quite great. However, your timely morning videos are sorely missed. Soon we are back to the old schedule, I should say. Soon we are back. I was wondering, as a former market maker, do you still trade options even though you've switched to automated trading?" Well, to be fair, I mean, you can trade options automated as well. I just don't do that. In fact, when I was a market maker, I mean, all of our algorithms are by nature, automatic. Anyways, to just answer the question straight up, I haven't really been trading options too much, to be honest. The reason why is that Bitcoin options still more on the illiquid side. Yes, it certainly has gotten better over the past 5-6 years since I started looking at them. But if you get into trouble with options on Bitcoin and you need liquidity, like it can be an issue for sure. Especially if you're selling options like that, that can really create a lot of background issues. But yeah, for me, I've actually, I wouldn't say I've closed the chapter. I'm like, I probably will get back into options once they become more liquid, but it's more so that I'm opening other chapters like long-term investing and getting more involved in that as I learn the ropes there. So yeah. Anyways, Myth Reindeer says, hello there. Could you please look at near USDT? Binance will do looks like an eternal yearly range. Is 7 to 8 a best case scenario for the cycle? Let's check it out. Wait, what was it again? Near. Wait, what was that? All right, there we go. Yeah, I really don't like this one. Eternal yearly range would be, I think, very nice to this one. This is not good. Really don't like what it's doing here. Yeah, is it going to get another bounce? Probably yes. Is it going to get a run? Is it going to get a run towards $8 to $9? I don't think so. I think that this one's like entering into its long-term downtrend. So similar to a lot of the other ones that we've seen today, I do think your next move is a bounce, something like this. Let me just redraw the LARP line here. Next move is a bounce. Does it bounce up to $5, $6? That's fine. It doesn't do anything for me as long as you're below. Geez, it really does have to be this last lower high here from December. As long as you're below there, I mean, this thing is more likely to break down than break up. But like I said, next move is likely to be the upside. Just be cognizant if you see a rejection here, that's going to be a pretty bad sign. Monthly momentum turning down while this thing also breaks structure, I mean, is not not good. Now I'm sure it'll very likely rally before end of month here, so you're not going to see a breakdown this month, probably not even next month, but maybe over the summer, because I think the long-term trajectory is something like this. Comes back down to these lows and goes sideways, and that's going to be your internal range. So maybe at some point, like years down the road, it does hit those $8 to $9 or sorry, $7 to $9 numbers again, but well and far away, sir. Well and far away. Admiral Akbar says, hello again, Crown Sir. Hello, Akbar Sir. Just wanted to follow up on my previous question regarding silver. It's still on target to reach $35 by end of month. Well, let's see. It's either going to be terrible or great. But seeing as gold has been rallying, I'd imagine this thing's probably doing well as well. And it is. But is it on track to hit $38 by the end of this month? I'd say probably not. I do think that it will get there in the coming month or two. But gold, silver, these sort of old commodities, they move a lot more slowly than Bitcoin. So if I did say that, I don't know if I said that in the past, but if I did say that in the past, I'd have to adjust the time range. I do think that this one will get there, yes, but this can take multiple months. I mean, this is a monthly chart right here, and while it is good, it is a nice healthy uptrend. It's like it's still very likely to take some time, but overall, long term, the trend is to the upside, and I like that. Quarterly also looking decent here too. So yeah, I have to favor continuation. Probably not just to 38, but I would imagine this thing does retest prior all-time highs at some point, maybe even this year. Whoops, keep on going to the wrong one. Okay, there we go. All right. 35. 35. Well, 35 is pretty close, I guess. I don't know. Got all the way up to 33, 30, 39. Maybe before end of month, probably by next month, if I had to guess. Okay. Hamia says, hey, Crown, could you please look at desync? Desync on a high-term time frame, low-term time frame. Desync. Okay. Destra. Not good. Bad. Very fucking bad. This one, again, relatively weak compared to many things we've seen today. It's already, back on the lows. Yeah, I definitely don't like this one. Do I think this one's going to bounce as well? It might actually break down and retest this wick low from the 3rd of February 1st and then bounce. But you got lower highs, especially as long as you're below like 40 cents. So I'd be bearish long term as long as you're below 40 cents. But in the short term, does it bounce here or close to here? I mean, in the short term, it looks to me like it's going to retest the February low and then probably bounce. But yeah, long term, it doesn't really change anything. I mean, it's not good. Not good as far as charts go, sir. Also, is there a hash ribbons? One per fucking person, huh? Kidding, man. But seriously, one per person. So just get as many people as possible. All right. Fibonacci says, hey, as you used to be a market maker, how often are Wyckoff schematics used in analysis by institutions? Well, being a market maker and institutional trading are two different things. I mean, I guess you could kind of consider what we were doing as an institution because it was like a small prop shop in equity options, but I don't think many people. It was like probably a mid-sized prop shop by today's standards, I guess. So one, we were equity options market makers. Market makers do not care about Wyckoff. I almost said a very bad word. I actually do think that Wyckoff has validity. It's just for market making, you have to understand what market making is. Market making is essentially looking for arbitrage between the price of an asset on one exchange versus the price of an asset on another exchange. Like, for example, here, the Finex versus Bitstamp are about $100 different. So you could buy on one and sell on the other. If you have both accounts there, blah 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 blah, these sort of things. And then obviously we were we were doing this in equity options, so we'd play the reversal conversion markets. So no, we didn't use Wyckoff schematics at all. In fact, TA was not really much of a thing either. Now my mentor is the one who got me into TA because he was like one of the first ones, I guess, doing it, back in the 60s, or no, not 60s, but 70s or 80s, something like that. I guess not one of the first, but one of the early adopters. So he had a really good handle on it, and he really believed in it. And I remember like the first words that he told me when I came in on the first day was, yeah, it's not perfect, but it works. And that's exactly what TA is. But yeah, that's a meta concept. You can't really trade off of a Wyckoff schematic anyways. And I think it is massively overblown. When people try to fit these schematics one to one with price action, it's not intended to work like that. Like Wyckoff himself literally fucking said that. And then on top of that, Wyckoff distribution and Wyckoff accumulation will look the same and can morph into either one until you actually have resolution of the range, aka trend continuation or trend reversal. And that just, I mean, it comes down to the one primal thing in all of trading that seems to hold true no matter what, which is follow the fucking trend. When you see a downtrend start to emerge, it's distribution. When you see an uptrend start to emerge, it's accumulation. Like, it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Yeah, man. I'd actually like to start to do the Twitch streams again, but not in Finland. If we get a place in America, then actually yes, the timing would be quite good here. But yeah. Anyways, BT Storm says, "Good morning, sir. What's up, man? How is Florida treating you thus far? Actually, pretty well. It's a little bit colder today, but it's not bad." Also, could you please look at OM USDT and tell me if you think it's topped for a while or that more green dildos will be entering my bunghole soon? I had Grok create an image of a groundhog with a massive green dildo yesterday. Maybe we could do the same thing for this. Elsa says, that's because I'm obsessed with homosexual activities. I don't know why you would think this one's, I mean, compared to everything else that we've seen, this is the only chart that is literally at all-time highs, making new all-time highs and made new all-time highs even this week. I do think short term you come back down and reconnect with that 5 exponential at 640, 645 region, but should get a short term bounce there. Let me just read the question again because I don't. Do I think it's topped for a while? I guess not. I guess I wouldn't say just yet. I need to see it below last week's low. Yeah, and the monthly, this is not a top right here. This is continuation. No, I would not say this one's topped yet, unless if the monthly closes below like $6. I do think that you get a pullback in the short term, but I do think that pullback is going to be a bounce. likely before end of month as well. So yeah. This fucking weird one. Well, I think I've heard a little bit about that one, is that like you can put your money into that, but you can't take it out. So maybe I'm wrong on that, but I just remember reading that somewhere. Anyways, EMS Rectop says, GM, with the recent 100-day range and the 8-month from last year, would you reassess that the cycle tops in Q1? Well, first off, let's verify this statement, because I don't believe that Bitcoin's been in a 100-day range. Let's see, because it doesn't sound about right to me. I mean, even if you take this from late November, which, oh yeah, okay. If you take it from late November, then yeah, almost 100 days, about 90 days. So the question is, would I reassess my idea that Bitcoin tops out in Q1? My main conviction, or the main conviction that I've been having, is that Bitcoin tops out before the end of the first half, likely in the first quarter, but very, very likely the first half. If Bitcoin, I would certainly reassess that 100%. I'm open to reassessing anything. But I'd want to see Bitcoin, if it is going to, if it is really going to prolong this cycle for a long time, I'd want to see it I'd want to see it operate within this range between these two green lines at 89,000 to the downside versus about 105 to the upside. I want to see it continue to range in these two magical lines between now and the end of the first half. If it does that, okay, some are probably going to be boring, but end of year, probably does get a nice upside move, and that would prolong everything. But obviously, if this is the base, then how much higher can it go from there? Well, I guess it's a question that will be answered with time. But yeah, I'm definitely open to reassessing it. But that's what I need to see first. Consolidation in that range, no breakouts, no breakdowns as well, until basically June. Lovewood says, what's up, sir? What's up, man? Happy to hear all about Florida. Have you visited or considered Texas? We've considered Texas, but it's a little bit further away, and I'm looking for something very specific. I want a nice house on a lake with a lot of yard, and in a big lake with lots of alligators. Anyways, you're looking at SPY futures on the day, and I don't think that Texas really has that, or maybe not as much. Anyways, okay. SPY futures on the daily. Okay. Well, I'm guessing you posted this. Yeah, you posted this on the 15th, so that was before yesterday's Dumbola party. Thirdish tap on the daily 55 with VMP turning down. Looking interesting at the least. Let's see. On the 15th. Oh, I guess that was last Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I still think that overall this one looks good, and long term this one is not done, but in the short term, does it correct more to the down? I'd be leaning more towards a correction in the downside short term. I think it had its chance. Yeah, you posted that on the 15th, so it did actually make new highs from there, new all-time highs from there for about 3 days. But obviously, giving pretty much all of that up, or all of the past couple weeks of gains in the past day. So, do I think that this one does retest somewhere around like 59, 56,000-ish region? Probably yes. I want to see a bounce there though. And spend a little bit more time kind of tightening up, and do something like this. If you can do something like that, yeah, I'd say that builds up a nice big opportunity for it to really break out. But that obviously implies that this thing corrects a little bit more in the short term. Yeah, not great on the short term, that's for sure. All right. Let's see what else we got. The muzzle fucker says, dear sir and sir, could you please take a look at SEI? We've actually done that one already, so all good. Have you heard about the book burning in Florida? Yeah, I think they burn like these books that teach little kids about trans ideology and how to have butt sex and shit like that. At least that's what I've heard. But yeah, I'm not really concerned about that, to be honest. I do all my books on Audible nowadays. Anyways, Dome Chan says, hello, Crown. Many happy green dildos to you, and also to you, sir. Could you please look at Palantir? Sure. PLTR, is that the, yeah, that's the ticker. Yeah, giving up a lot of gains this past week, or again, really just in the past couple days, but giving up a lot of gains in the past couple days. I do think that this one is going to enter into a little bit of a short-term consolidation, a little bit lower, but let's just double check if there's bearish divergence on a higher time frame. I'm curious to see. PLTR. Okay. Let's go over here. Yeah, there is bearish divergence there. Boom, boom, and higher high. So do you think that this one can correct a bit more? Probably comes back down, fills the gap, also tests 55 at, 85.5, $86, something like that. Should be a bounce there. Does it continue from there? I don't know, but should be a bounce there at least. All right. Let's see. Tobo says, good day, good sir. What's up, man? Tesla daily, weekly. Okay. TSLA. All right. How's this one doing? Also not great, to be honest. I do think that this one's going to test to the downside as well, like 290-ish region. In fact, I think that's what the LARP lines have right here. LARP lines have us going lower, but oh yeah, now I remember where we're at on the monthly. Swing high on the monthly. I do think that it comes down, like I think 290 in the short term, very likely. Probably gets a bounce there, but I do think it will. I actually do think that it likely does come a little bit lower than that, maybe towards like 250, 260-ish region, but still be a higher low. I'm still looking at this as overall good. I mean, you do still see monthly higher lows the whole way through, but obviously after hitting a swing high around the current all-time high, I mean, kind of have to be looking for a pullback into a higher low. So that would imply short-term downside. Anyways, we have Mr. Barash next. He's looking at hype. I'm going to take a sip of this water. Hype. Yeah, I have this on my list, although I don't have any position, and I don't think I want to either. Holding up relatively well compared to many things that we've seen today, like this one in the middle of its range compared to most things which are on the bottom of the range. But do I think that this thing's going to move on its own? No, I don't. Do I think that you're going to still need Bitcoin to be strong in order for this thing to move to the upside? Yeah. In the short term, if I had to call it, I would actually be looking for a short-term downside move, a retest of this past week's low, and then probably an attempt for a bounce there. Any sort of closure below $22 very likely does lead towards a full retest of the lower boundary at around $20. So it's a 10% move, but I think you're going sideways here for a long time, to be honest. I'm trying to look for something obvious, still a very new chart. Yeah, if I had to call it in the short term, another downside test, but I don't think it's breaking down or anything like that from here. I think you're doing a lot of sideways, so maybe it ends up being like something like this, Yeah. All right. Let's move on. We have Theo Easter Egg says, GM, sir. OMUCT. I think we got that one, so all good. Kitty. Yeah, that's actually a word that I don't know that well. I know I use ketos. Anyways, after 7 years of living in Finland, I know 3 fucking words. 2R2 says MicroStrategy Daily Weekly. Sure. MSTR. Okay. Actually be very interesting to look at this one. I have to say that this one more likely to retest its December lows, back down around 285. And the weekly does not make me feel good about it holding there, to be honest with you. I do think you're going to get a bounce temp there. Hopefully, for the Boolah's sake, it bounces a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come down closer to 230, 240-ish region. Long term still, I mean, this is not like terrible or anything like that. But yeah, short term, should come down a little bit more. I do think it will bounce here around 285-ish region. But that bounce better be a heroic bounce back above like 350 for me to consider that this thing is ready to continue trend to the upside. Maybe a bad open for Bitcoin here. Deval says, hello, Sir Crown. Could you please take a look at INTC? This is actually a stock that I own. Not because I think like the chart is amazing, but because I like the company. It's come down a little bit here. I bought at around 20, 21 bucks, something like that. But this one, you know, I actually do think that it is putting in a low here. You are seeing momentum on the monthly turn up alongside extreme volatility. So I do think that you've hit a local low here. It also has bullish divergence on the monthly stochastic oscillator. It has hit the easy target on that at the move to 27, but you know, I do think that this could continue easily to like 36 bucks. Let me just look at it from this angle. Remember, there's something over here. Yeah, monthly also has multiple drives of bullish divergence on monthly RSI. So, you know, I do think that this one will bounce higher, but in the short term, you know, it's going to come down a little bit. I suspect might even come all the way back down to about 22.5, 23 bucks. But I do think that this bounce generally on the higher term timeframes, the monthly and above, is not done just yet. Long term, I mean, it's like I said, this is not like the picture perfect chart or anything like that, but. You know, is this your next local low? I think so, yes. I do think that you will trade up. Again, 36, 37. That's very far away, though. Very far away in terms of time. These things, again, move much slower than cryptocurrencies. Anyways, just checking in on time. 35 minutes in. Another sip of the water. And we have Treebeard next. He says, good morning, sir. What is your max gain and max loss records % of account in one single day since you recognize yourself as a professional trader? Jeez. Okay, so max gain, I'd actually have to think about that. Max loss, I definitely know that one. Look, okay, in a single day, technically, I've been a professional trader ever since my early 20s, so I guess I have to include that as well. I mean, in a single day, that would have to be 60%. 60% gone in a single day. Yeah, if I count it from when I was officially considered a professional trader, yeah. Yeah, fucking sucked. Max gain, shit, man, in one day. I don't know. I think I bought a shitcoin earlier this cycle and it went up like 10 or 15x in what seemed like a day. That's probably the biggest one day gainer I ever had. But that was my one success in the shitcoin roulette for this cycle. I mean, to be fair, there were a few, but that one was like an instant success, like kind of the meme coin dream, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, Sue Crypto says, nice one as well, sir. Good morning to you. Mo Ali says, hey, Poppy, pal, what do you think? Sure. All right. Still think you're playing within this range. Still think it's going to bounce off this range. Some of the LARP lines right here. Yes, it did already retest the lows. Okay, that's fine. We expected that. I do think you're going to get a bounce off these lows. It could, in the short term, retest your February 3rd wick low, but again, I don't think you're gonna break down in the short term. I do think that it's in a bouncy posture, and you do see a move back around like, you know, higher 20 cents to 30 cents region, like 28 to 30 cents. I mean, long term, it is one massive range here, but you know, you do have to respect the trend, and the trend is down. So, you know, just like many of the other ones, I would have to be bearish, especially as long as it's below about 30 cents on a weekly closing basis. But I do think that you're going to get a bounce somewhere around there. So it'll have a chance, but just have to see what happens when it gets that chance. Does it close above or no? All right. Methodical Chaos says, good day, sir. I hope you're enjoying Florida. It's the New Yorker way of saying it. Regarding NDA on TSXV, is 169 a good entry for a bounce? How could I possibly know the answer to this question without even knowing, one, anything about your risk tolerance or what fucking strategy you are considering doing? Two, what time frame you're looking at this trade on? My man, I say this with love, but asking a random person on the internet, okay, maybe not a random person, but just asking someone on the internet or just asking anyone else about something like this, I think you need to do a lot more research into like what the fuck you're even looking at or doing, because this is not a strategy. This is a strategy to get absolutely fucking wrecked. Is 190? Fuck no, 190 is not a good entry. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's already well below there. But I'm guessing you made this post before then. Look, I don't know what time frame we're on. Like maybe you're on a 5-minute time frame, and yeah, balance at around 190 might have made sense, or I guess not looking at this, but if I'm on a daily, I think this one comes a little bit lower towards 150. If I'm on a weekly, I think this one comes a little bit lower than that towards 130, 135. In fact, I think this thing actually might be done for a while. I'm seeing the double extreme volatility signal right here. Again, I don't know if this is relevant to you. If you're on a fucking 5-minute time frame, then obviously not, but there's no way for me to know. And I just highly caution you against, again, because like I could have given you an answer here, and I would highly caution against listening to anyone who would have given you an answer based off the criteria that you gave them. I mean, shit, I'm not even a financial advisor, for fuck's sake. But yeah, man, be careful with that, because it was 167 for a bounce. Well, I do think it bounces like a little bit lower than that. On a daily. But again, I'm making an assumption here. There's no way for me to know. So there's no way that I could possibly have a good answer for you. Weird Beard says, hey Crown, thanks again for doing these Q&As. All good, man. I actually really enjoy doing them. It's hard to tell if my thoughts and ideas are just retarded without any input. I feel the same way many times as well. What is your process for idea creation with regards to strategies / oh man. Yeah, okay. I'll read the rest of this and I'll give my answer. My intuition tells me I should include a volatility metric, because I heard a few people say expanding volatility tends to lead to more volatility. Kind of, but not. There's like a massive missing component of that statement. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but if there is no volatility, I would imagine there would be minimal returns or more random bullshit. That you're definitely right on. When there's not ever no volatility, but there is low volatility. And when low volatility happens, it just means that the dispersion of returns is very low. And what does that mean? It just means that the range that price is trading in is very small. And when volatility is high, the range is very large. Yeah. But anyways, to answer the question, my process for idea creation with regards to strategies and indicators. Okay, I should say it is true that a lot of the time it does actually just like randomly hit me when I'm in the shower or the sauna. I don't know why, or like on a walk. But the actual process that I go through that would be an actionable step for you to potentially do is I first go into price action, and then I highlight the area, like the price, like behavior that I'm trying to capture. So trying to think of an example right here. Like I'd say, I have a horizontal support, so I want to buy on horizontal support on something like this. Well, actually, it's not even going to work in this example, but you want to highlight a piece of price action that you want to capture, both for the entry and the exit. And then from there, I usually have like 2 or 3 indicators always on my board that are kind of like, they're kind of like good blank spots almost. One for volatility, so that's always going to be the BBWP. Then one for momentum, that might be the RSI or the stochastic oscillator, just something a little bit more default and generic. And then I'll probably have moving averages as well. And then I want to observe for the price that I'm trying to capture, what did those indicators look like during the entry, and also what do they look like during the exit? And then from there, once I have those documented, then I'll go back and compare past iterations of the same price action that I'm trying to capture, and observe where those indicators were during that time. And if they match up and the same result happens, or sorry, I don't look at other past occurrences of the price action. What I look at is other past occurrences of where the indicators are, and then see if that correlated to the same price action that I'm looking to capture. And then from there, it's just a process of backtesting, and you figure out if that's going to actually work or not by looking at all of these iterations. Anyways, another sip of water here. Pumpkin has the question of the day. Morning Crown, could you please do a detailed TA breakdown of Butterbiev B-Vol this week and your non-financial advice on which to long? I'm torn between the two. You know what's crazy, man? when I was working out in Dubai, boxing in Dubai, B-Vol just one fucking day randomly shows up on the bag next to me. Like I'm hitting the bag, okay, and like I literally have like maybe a year of experience, and then B-Vol on the bag next to me starts warming up and hitting the bag, and I'm like, is that fucking B-Vol? is that him? Holy shit. Look, B-Vol is really impressive, man. I think technically he's probably a better boxer than Beterbiev, but Beterbiev, it's just Beterbiev has the eraser, as Teddy Atlas likes to say. He has the eraser. What does that mean? His hands are so fucking strong that he can change the game with one punch. B-Vol unfortunately does not have that power. I don't think he really has many knockouts. He hasn't really been known as a knockout artist or anything like that. He's known as a highly technical and skilled, like real Soviet boxer. I mean, this guy like has the perfect style. It's actually really insane to watch. I really enjoyed his fight versus Canelo, even though I love Canelo and he lost. But yeah, man, I would have to go. Fuck, it's such a hard one because B-Vol is the better boxer in my opinion. Is Beterbiev more likely to win? Shit, man, I think so probably. But B-Vol, I mean, fuck, man. B-Vol seems really, really intelligent to me, so I think he'll probably be able to make the adjustments in this current match. I personally, okay, I want B-Vol to win. I think Beterbiev will probably win this one though, just because he like if he hits B-Vol just a few times, and he has many chances within a 12-round fight to hit him just a few times, like that, it's a game changer. It's just a game changer. You can't get hit that much and still be okay. Anyways, Ondo 3-day, if there's time to spare. Just one, man. Just one. Just kidding. We can look at this one. A little bit of a fun one there. So I enjoyed that. Ondo, LARP lines still more or less what I'm looking for. I mean, I do think it's going to bounce off of the, off of the lower boundary here. Whether it comes down to like 105 first and then bounces, or it just bounces from where it's at right now, I don't have strong opinions on that. I do think you're going to generally be doing this. I do think that you generally get another test somewhere around like 165 to 175 region. Looking more long-term here. Monthly, not a big fan. Yeah, would really want to see it reclaim like 122 before this weekend, and that's kind of like a big ask for the next day and a half. Don't like it on the higher term time frames. Lower term time frames, I do think that you have another bounce there. All right. MS 109K was the top. Says, hello, Sir Crown. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well as well, sir. Super USDT on daily and weekly in exchange. Okay. I have super on my list right here. Daily and weekly. Weekly. The hopium here for super is that the weekly, and I guess the monthly, but let's focus on the weekly. The weekly, I guess it's still kind of around where we're looking at, does still have weekly higher lows in its current posture. That means I really don't want to see it below February's low, but I still generally think most of these things are getting ready for bounces to end this month. I think super is no different. I think that it'll bounce above $1, probably somewhere close to like 115, maybe even 1.25. Long term though, I do have to remain cautious on this, especially as long as you're below 160. So while I do think that it bounces, needs to hold the higher low structure. Otherwise, you're gonna hear me flip around to being like ultra bearish. But there's still a little bit of hopium in some of these things. So yeah. All right, let me another sip. All right. Stone Sorcery says fetch AI weekly and monthly. Okay. Fet. Yeah, definitely on the weaker side. It's already made a new low compared to its August of 2024 lows. I mean, that's not a good sign. But just like many other things, I do think that this one is getting ready for a bounce here. Let's redraw the LARP lines. Something like this. Boom. Pops up. Okay, maybe not that high. It's quite high. Quite aggressive. I do think that it could bounce easily towards like above $1, maybe to 1.25. But as long as it's below 160, hard one to love long term. Although it does have a long-term uptrend, so at least there's that. Give it a chance to bounce first, and then we come back to it after that. I'm not going to be looking for a breakdown in the short term anyways. So, yeah, very likely continues to bounce from here. Anyways, let's see how deep into this video we are. 49 minutes, eh? We're actually getting a little bit close to the bottom. All right, Duns is here. He says, "Hello, Crown. Isn't this double bottom for Ethereum BTC price graph?" First off, biggest pet peeve. Don't call a fucking chart a graph. Holy shit. Kidding, man. Well, I'm not kidding. I mean, it really is a chart. It's not a graph. Like, you immediately dox yourself as a lobotomite when you call it a graph. We are at multi-year trendline support. I don't believe that works or anything like that really matters, to be honest. But let's just look at the chart. Do I think it's going to bounce? I think I said it was likely to bounce. Where it's at. Yeah. I know I definitely have a chart on this somewhere. Look, I don't think that any of the stuff that you pointed out there matters. I mean, like, which fucking trend line is it to begin with? I mean, Jesus. But do I think it's going to bounce here? Yeah, I do think it's going to bounce, and I think it can bounce a lot. 5 million Satoshis, that's a big ask, but I do think somewhere between 4 and 4.5 million Satoshis is on the cards in the next, I don't know, few months, something like that. We'll see. Anyways, and generally I do think that, well, I mean, it's kind of what I just said, but Ethereum will gain versus Bitcoin. Yeah, I think that this is a major low right here. Monthly momentum also turning up as well after retesting, a major low, a major local low from December 2020. Yeah, very likely to bounce there. All right. Nick Naz says, when will or can you get Fiboswani back on the show? Well, of course. I mean, we're friends. We speak quite often. So I think we're planning for March. It's just, he comes on when he has a new update. He's usually very, very long term. So of course there's not a new update every fucking week, man, or every day. Because of course I focus on a little bit more short-term price action. Hence why I do these videos on a daily basis. Tom BJ says, "Hey Crown, do you think STX is done for this cycle?" Well, let's see. I think I still have this one on my list. I like the idea that Bitcoin, DeFi on Bitcoin, but if it bounces above like 108 before this month ends, I guess that keeps the very long-term hopes alive, but I don't think that's going to happen. I do think that this one will bounce, maybe not within that time frame. Maybe it bounces up to like $1.50, which is a big fucking move, but that's another lower high, and this thing already is in a weekly downtrend. So, especially if the monthly closes below about $1. Yeah, I said 105 earlier, but I'd switch that to $1. As long as you're below $1, I would be long term saying, yeah, all bounces are just that, bounces before lower, in that it has topped out for the cycle. But the hopium is that it'll close above at least $1. Okay, I would say it has to close above 105, or where exactly is this? Sorry, 110 for Bula hopes to remain alive, and it has to, no, we can actually make that 105. 105, okay. 105 to keep Bula's hopes alive, but below $1, there's no Bula hopium. It is just downside. Again, even with a big bounce in between, that is going to be another lower high. So, not great. All right. Let's see. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's done yet, but by the end of this month, I think it could very well be possible to declare. RN, what's up? Says, I'm an RN. What's up? Could you please look at link on the daily weekly? Okay. Link. Let's see where this one's at. Let's go to the weekly. Not really doing too much for me here. I would have liked to have seen it bounce from higher if this thing was going to be in a strong position in the short term, and it's not. I do think in the short term it actually will test some more downside here, probably around that 377, which is 16.25. I do think that you're going to bounce there as well. I don't think that this thing's going to actually like break down, but have to follow the trend on the daily. So, it could bounce up to like $21, $22 and still be in a downtrend. That's kind of the problem here. you do have these declining highs from December of the past year. Below 16 bucks, big fucking problems. I would just say this thing's done for a very, very long time. But until then, a little bit of hopium there. Just want to see it really recover above about 19.5, 20 bucks before end of month here. So hopefully that bounce gets started sooner rather than later. All right. Let's see. JRSB says, hello, Uncle Crown. Good morning, sir. Could you please check HODL Soul Strategies on the daily? All right. Okay, HODL. On the daily specifically. Well, down. I'd have to say down here, but I think made it a little bit easy on me just because I get to see the result of this week. Yeah, weekly, I do think short term you come down to like 280 and probably try for a short term bounce there, but I'm not convinced that this thing is gonna continue with new highs. I think that this thing, what was it again? HODL, yeah. I do think that this thing is actually topping out for a very long time. You have, I'm guessing, no, you only have 2 drives of bearish divergence here, so maybe not for forever, but I do think that you've hit a major high for a while. I do think that the next short-term moves to the downside. I don't think they're going to be making new all-time highs anytime soon. And I do think that there is a threat of a move down to like 170 to 180 region, which is a big fucking move for this thing. So yeah, more likely to do that than not. All right, Doggy, full analysis. We've already done that. Guillermo, hopefully I'm saying that right. Hey Crown, is a cash done for the cycle? Let's see. AKT is the ticker, I believe. Is it done for the cycle? Below August low at 180 on the monthly closure, I'd say, yeah, that's a pretty easy call. If it closes above there, I guess it's similar to STX it was. There's hopium, there's still a little bit of hopium in the short term. I do think that you are in a bounce phase right here, so the hopium probably does continue, something like this. But again, you know, you have lower highs on a higher term time frame. It could bounce all the way up to almost $3, which is nearly a 2x move from where it's at right now, and still be bearish long term. That's the problem with a lot of these things. But you know, a lot of these things, it has been the same. Like short term, very likely to bounce. It's just is that the position that you hold on for forever? I initially would say no. All right, we'll do the last one for Texas SigEp. He says, well, thank God I don't hold any CRV. Nice. To my last post. While mainland China is a despotic police state, so is Boynton Beach. Traffic cams. I don't even know what that is, to be honest. Maybe that's a photo. I don't know. At least I can live like a king for $2,000 a month and whack the rest into savings and investments in communist China. That's right. And they're completely safe there as well. So I hear. NIO on the daily and weekly. This is a Chinese shitcoin stock, isn't it? Yeah, looks like one. One thing my mentor taught me when I first came in, this was maybe like my first month or two, avoid Chinese shit like the plague. Look, I'm never going to like a chart that looks like this, man. Do you have a higher low on a daily right here? Sure. But you know, if you want to be a traditional chartist, I mean, this is your traditional bear flag, right? So I do think that, you know, it might do something like this, maybe retest around those lows, maybe just start from where it's at right now. But I do think you're in a bounce phase. It could bounce up, you know, very significantly. You just have to be aware of that. This thing has only been putting in the lower highs since 2021. Like, I'm not going to be calling a reversal here until we get a reversal. And it's not quite there just yet. So yeah, that's where we'll end things for today. Again, if you want to participate in these weekly Q&As, you can do so by joining the Discord link in the description below, and then finding your way to the weekly Q&A section over here. And it's first come, first serve. Again, YouTube members do get priority, but yeah, we'll try to get through as many of them as possible. I think it's a good place maybe leaving off on today's video. As always, I want to wish everyone the best. I want to remind everyone that we do have a sale coming on in like two and a half weeks now, I think. So, you know, if you're thinking about buying anything, maybe just hold off for a little bit. It'll make things a bit easier on you. Anyways, yeah, we'll sign off on that note. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Sunday.